Okay, page 14, meditation. Question. All teachers advise to meditate. Meditation. Maharaj. The primary purpose of meditation is to become conscious of and familiar with our inner life. You see, this perception or the theory of meditation, the definition. The Maharaj says,
I thought I was having network issues, but apparently there's some problem with Acharyaji's end.
There is network. Acharya ji की आवाज.
sorry, I lost.
There were some network issues, Acharya. We were not able to follow you also.
Meditate. Sorry?
There was a network issue, I think. We weren't able to follow you.
Yes.
Seems better now.
I repeat our questions. All teacher advise to meditate. What is the purpose of meditation? No. World of thoughts and feelings, we know very little. The primary purpose of meditation is to become conscious of and familiar with our inner life. In other words, he recommends, or he explained, the meaning of meditation is to draw your attention within yourself. So the simple reason purpose of keeping your eyes gently closed is to shut the one sensation, the sense organ of seeing. If you stop seeing, your mind does not perceive the world outside you. And it helps to draw your vision within yourself. Try to concentrate within yourself. And that's what Maharaj is recommending. Is to become conscious of and familiar with our inner of life and consciousness. So he makes clear distinction between consciousness and the source of the life. Now that should be a matter of debate. To reach the source of life and consciousness, are they two different things? Source of the life and consciousness, are they two separate? Are they two different things? Is the question we should have. Incidentally, practice of meditation deeply affects our character. We are slaves to what we do not know. Of what we know, we are masters. Whatever vice or weakness in ourselves, we discover and understand its causes and its working. We overcome it by the very knowing. The unconscious dissolves when brought into the conscious. So what other word he's trying to say is, by drawing your attention within yourself, looking to your own consciousness, your own energy, who you are, what you are, making this as your questions, contemplating on that question, you are withdrawing your attention, your sense organs withdraw slowly from what we perceive through our senses as an outer world. Instead, we help all our senses to shut their sense gratification and bring attention to our internal world. What is our internal world? Is the simple breathing, and contemplate on What is the source of this life? What makes us alive? What is the source of this life? Is it some consciousness? Is it Brahman? Is it God? Is it your breathing? Is it your prana? What is it? Do not worry about the answer. Just check what is the source of our being alive. We are slaves to what we do not know. What does it mean? Read slowly. Read a couple of times. We are slaves to what we do not know. Of what we know, we are masters. That means whatever that our senses are able to perceive, we're trying to be master of it. In the other word, if your intelligence or your hearing or your seeing, if you do different kind of yogas and different sadhanas, you master that sense organs. You improve upon that what we already know. You work on it. But how much do we know about ourselves, our real self, our inner world? That's what he means. He says, we are slaves to what we do not know. What does it mean, slaves to what we do not know? Of what we know, we are masters. Whatever vice and weaknesses in ourselves, we discover and understand its causes and its workings. We overcome it by the very knowing it. The unconscious dissolves when brought into consciousness. In other words, the ignorance or what we do not know. Moment you bring your attention to what we do not know. Question, simple question, what we are, who we are, what is the source of this life, what makes us going, what makes us keep alive. Keep on giving attention to that question. That itself will dissolve the question. The unconscious dissolves when brought into conscious. The dissolution of the unconscious releases energy. The mind feels adequate and become quiet. But this is not all that easy. In other words, it does not happen in just one sitting of meditation. The Maharaj is explaining the purpose of meditation, but this needs a regular sadhana. The dissolution of the unconscious releases the energy. Moment you drop ignorance or moment you overcome the ignorance. What is ignorance? The false identification, the false knowledge of what we can perceive, what our sense organs can perceive. We think all that what we can feel, touch, smell, see, hear through our sense organs is the real world. That is what we know. And that's our ignorance. A limited understanding of our external world through our sense organs. But what does the sense organ, how does sense organ operate? How does sense organ perceive? What makes the sense organs perform? What is the source of the life? If you concentrate on that, the source of the life, then this unconscious releases the energy. In other words, the ignorance drops. The mind feels adequate and become quiet. In Upanishad, it says, Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. When you accept the existence, you accept that you, within you and without you, all that is pervades is consciousness. Once you have that knowledge, once you are aware of that, you are in bliss. You may perform all your duties as day-to-day chore, but you internally in the bliss. Question, what is the use of quiet mind? When the mind is quiet, we come to know ourselves as the pure witness. We withdraw from the experience and its experiencer and stand apart in pure awareness, which is between and beyond the two. Now, if you recall what we read in Tattva Bodha, which was based on Advaita Vedanta, non-dualism, that and this sentence seem to be in contrast, opposite, but it is not. What Maharaj says is, we withdraw from the experience and its experiencer and stand apart in pure awareness. All through his life, entire this book, many times, Maharaj emphasized on being aware. He says, be aware of your awareness. Remember this sentence. This is what he says. Be aware of your awareness. Yeah? He emphasized awareness is superior, higher than accepting consciousness. So he says experience and experiencer. Remember, there are three stages in Tattva Bodha. Object, subject. What is the object? The experience of your sense gratification, whatever is your sense gratification, whether seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, whatever. That's an object. That is the process. But who experiencer? Who is the experiencer? Because I see it. My ears are experiencer because I hear. Or my skin is experiencer because it touches. Yeah. So I'm holding the book, and that's my experience, that I'm holding the book. And who is experiencer? Myself, my hands, or myself, my body. But he says, being aware of that is the higher than the consciousness itself. In Tattva Bodha, in Vedanta says, experience and experiencer. When you try to remember last time we had a long chat, talk about it, my eyes are able to see it. There is no object. It's only the light that goes into my eyes. And with the mechanism that is so advanced that my eye, is sense organ, passes on through the vein to my part of brain, which immediately refers to my memory and identify that I'm seeing Kapilji or Aditi or whoever, whatever. Now, actually, I'm not seeing you. I'm only seeing a reflection of the light that goes through the eyes. And that image is then gone into the brain, and brain refers it to my memory, or the memory of, and it immediately answers that it is a laptop or iPad or a book or whatever. Yeah. And that immediately comes as the ego. I know it is a book. I know it is a laptop. I know it is Kapilji. I comes, that ego. So three things happens. Light reflection, memory is involved, and ego is involved. But all that, how does it function? What allows all that to happen? Two things. Vedanta says is consciousness or Brahman. Maharaj says that is an experiencer. Consciousness, Brahman, is experiencer. But you, as Jivatma, be an awareness, that you are aware of that it is consciousness which is experiencer. You, as a Jivatma, is being aware of that. All right, so I continue. It says, with experiencer and stand apart in pure awareness, which is between and beyond the two. The personality, based on self-identification, on imagining oneself to be something. I am this, I am that, continues, but only as part of the objective world. Its identification with the witness snaps, which means whenever we say, I know this and I know that, or I am this or I am that, we are unconsciously referring to our gross body or our sense organs. All that sense can perceive is what we know. But we do not know how does these senses perform. What allows these senses to act, or the source of the life, source of these senses. Question. As I can make out, I live on many, as I can make out, I live on many levels and life on each level requires energy. The self by itself, self by its very nature delights in everything and its energies flow outward. Is not the purpose of meditation to dam up the energies on the higher levels or to push them back and up as to enable the higher levels to propose also? It's technical question. Let us repeat. As I can make out, I live on many levels and life on each level requires energy. What does it mean, different levels? Which means our mind is fluctuating. Right now, we are reading this book, our mind or our attention ought to be on the subject of this book. But at the same time, our mind is also thinking of something else. So we're living on different levels. So he says, I live on many levels and life on each level requires energy. The self, the capital self, the self is by itself very nature, delights in everything and its energies flow outwards. The capital self, the nature of the self is to be in the delight, bliss, ananda. And that energy, it flows all over. That means that the bliss or the love stands and spreads. It's not the purpose of meditation to dam up the energies on the higher level or to push them back and up so as to enable the higher levels to prosper also. Which means, if the questioner says, isn't it true that we should remain in that higher energies or higher level of awareness all the time? Master, it is not so much the matter of level as the gunas, qualities. Meditation is sattvic activity and aim at complete elimination of tamas, inertia, and rajas, motivity. Pure sattva, harmony, is perfect freedom from sloth and restlessness. Very simple, easy manner in which Maharaj says that in meditation, try to contemplate or stay in that sattvic guna. By staying on sattvic guna, you are eliminating your other two gunas, other two qualities, which is tamas and rajasic. What is the tamas? Tamas is inertia, laziness, taking it easy. What is rajas? Rajas is being active, motivating. All the time you are moving, or not physically, mentally, emotionally. What is sattvic? Sattvic is steadfast. You remain in the present moment, right now, here and now, accepting the existence. Do not worry about what is right and what is wrong, who is correct, who is not correct. No discrimination whatsoever. Acceptance of existence is sattvic guna, remaining in harmony with the existence. How to strengthen and purify the sattva? The sattva is pure and strong always. It is like the sun. It may seem obscured by clouds and dust, but only from the point of view of the perceiver. Deal with the causes of obscuration, not with the sun. In other words, we are essentially sattvic. Our original nature is sattvic. It is our ignorance which brings us into tamasic and rajasic mode. Yeah? The quality of tamas and rajasic is our ignorance. Moment you transcend the ignorance, moment you pursue the higher knowledge of who we are or what we are, you are in that bliss, in that awareness, you are sattva. You are pure energy. So concentrate on pure energy, pure consciousness, pure quality of life, source of the life. What is this use of sattva? See how simple and basic are questions. What is the use of sattva? What is the use of truth, goodness, harmony, beauty? They are their own goal. They manifest spontaneously and effortlessly. When things are left to themselves, are not interfered with, not shunned or wanted or conceptualized, but just experienced in full awareness. Such awareness itself is sattva. It does not make use of things and people. It fulfills them. You see how beautiful answer is this. What is the use of sattva? Yeah, what is sattva? In other words, Maharaj says, what is the use of truth, goodness, harmony, beauty? They are their own goal. They manifest spontaneously and effortlessly. When things are left to themselves, in other words, when you do not interfere through your sense organs, but accept them as they are always in harmony. And when things are left to themselves, are not interfered with, not shunned or wanted or conceptualized, but just experienced in full awareness. In other words, with awareness, accept them as they are. Such awareness itself is sattva. In other words, moment you start living in the present moment with total awareness, when you live here and now, in this moment, in this present moment, you are into sattva guna. Because you can only accept this present moment when you accept it. Conditions as they are, whatever it is. It may appear not in harmony with your likes and dislikes, but that's again our limited understanding of what is right and what is not right. Nature, prakriti, maya, existence is divine design. And moment you accept that reality, you are in sattvic guna. You are living in sattva. Next. Since I cannot improve sattva, am I to deal with tamas and rajas only? How do I deal with them? Maharaj, by watching their influence in you and on you, be aware of them in operation, watch their expressions in your grip on you will lessen, and the clear light of sattva will emerge. It is neither a difficult nor a protected process. Earnestness is the only condition of success. Maharaji says it's not difficult for any one of us to be fully aware, to live, you start living in this moment, present moment, with total awareness. You are living with sattvic guna. Moment you start living in sattvic guna, tamas and rajas has no role, or slowly it will reduce the grip on you. grip on you or grip in you, it will reduce. In our day-to-day life, we can be our own example. From morning to evening, what kind of thoughts are we entertaining? What kind of activity we are performing? If we are aware of it, we realize that you may do certain things which you really did not like to do. In other words, you will come to know that this, what I'm speaking or what I'm doing, is not in harmony with my internal, my inner, my real nature. For example, as a parents, you may sometime come to a situation where you have to be angry or scold your children or your partner or your friends or colleagues. You may do it, but suddenly, immediately you may realize that's not my real nature. I do not lose my temper so easily. How did I get that anger? How did I scold? How did I behave like this? Now that realization will happen only if you are aware. But if you take it for granted and if you just ignore it, you continue living in Rajasic quality or Tamasic quality. Moment you bring the awareness, question yourself, I am not the one who could lose anger, lose the temper, who get angry. How did I scold? How did I raise my voice? That awareness leads you to the time when you don't feel angry, you do not scold, you do not raise voice, you do not lose the temper. And winning your temper, winning your anger is the great thing that you can do. Our biggest enemy is our own anger, because you cannot act in harmony with the existence. Moment you are in the mode of tamas, you are living a false life. That is not who you are originally. So meditation, according to Maharaj, is to internalize your awareness. Bring awareness and see what is the source of this life. What is the source of this consciousness? To whatever you are hearing, who is that listener? You would say, it is me, Vijay is listening, or Aditi is listening. But Vijay, Aditi is just the name given to the body. That real source of life. Meditate upon that, which means internalize your attention. Meditate on the source. When we do many or Shivoham, it literally emphasizes or it is repeatedly conditioning your mind, I am that. Shivoham, which means I am that Shiv, or that energy, or that supreme energy. I am that. And what is that? What is the nature of that? Sat Chit Ananda. Existence, entire existence, all that we can perceive and all what we cannot perceive. Everything is existence. And what is that existence? God, whatever name we give. Bliss, Ananda. In other words, Ananda is just one word, but Ananda also means love, light, joy, acceptance, knowledge. Knowledge, in other words, awareness. I would stop here if you have any point to ask a question?
Acharya, coming back to the original first question, source of life and consciousness.
These are small chapters later upon. Yeah. Two things.
Aren't they the same? I thought.
Yeah. So I tell you the subtle difference. Source of life in reality is unknowable. It's unknowable. Consciousness is knowable and it is known by spiritual scientists and physical scientists. How? You take any life form, forget about humans, any life forms. What happens when there is a life? Two things. There is a movement, which is based on energy, and there is a disappearance or dissolution. Appearance and disappearance. In other words, there is a beginning and end. Yeah, correct. Now, what comes in and what goes out? Is it consciousness? No, it is not. It is the reflection of that consciousness. It is that consciousness is something which can be reduced from the higher supreme consciousness, Brahman, and it descends, takes the shape and form of human or any other creature. We're taking human because human happen to be the highest form of consciousness, highest form of consciousness. There is consciousness in ants, consciousness in crocodile or lion or tiger or bird or plants or everything has a consciousness, but they are not evolved. Yeah? We as human at the highest level of evolution, spiritually speaking, and therefore we are unable to do a discrimination. That is consciousness that pervades. But the source of that consciousness, no one knows. How did that consciousness came to being? When did it start? When will it end? No one knows. No one knows. The source is unknowable. And this is absolutely according to Maharaj. His self-realization, his grace or his Brahma-jnana, he believes that the source of life is unknowable. Yes, we can talk about consciousness because consciousness is, in other words, energy. It is the energy within us or around us. Our understanding is so limited. We talk about what our sense can gratification, what sense can perceive. But try to see the cosmos at large. Yeah, there are trillions and trillions of stars and planets and galaxies, and yet it only consumes 27% of knowable or known existence. This is the, let me share with you. I just was reading about it other day, what science has said, and I was amazed. I will put it on the group. If I can find it now, we can talk about it briefly. Oh, yes. It says, I'm talking about the known existence, non-universe. Yeah, non-universe in the word, the highest level of science has found 68% of existence, 20%, which is normal matter. What are the normal matter? The sun, galaxies, Milky Ways, planets, and all others that we can perceive, all others that science has found, is only 5% of the actual existence, known existence. There is so much which is still not known. But within the known universe, it is only 5% that we can say there is a galaxies and Milky Ways and there are black holes and there are this or that, whatever. It's just 5%. 27% is dark matter, which is gases and um, dust and things like that. But it's called dark matter. That means reality nobody knows. And there are 68%, which is nothing but energy, dark energy. It is called dark energy because it's not known, the source of that energy. What is the purpose of that energy? What is the source of that energy? 68%. So what is the dark energy and what is the dark matter? Is the science cannot find it, the answer. What is, and therefore they call it dark, unknown.
Unknown.
And this is out of perceivable existence. Yeah. Highest level of science has perceived only so much. Imagine that consciousness, that energy, which is known to us, is only 5%. Rest, what is the source of it? When did it start? When will it end? Unknowable. That is unknowable. The source of that energy or life is unknowable. It's unknowable for our limited mind, for our limited understanding. Maybe someone who's got self-realization, maybe they have answers, but they don't reveal because then for them it is not important to talk about it. So Maharaj says, source of life is something that you have to get answer probably. But you will come to know, you will become so humble, you'll realize that what are we doing after all? What we are so little, so insignificant compared to all the existence. That makes you humble. That makes you in a condition where you start accepting existence, accepting the higher energy. And that's why we all talk about consciousness, because that's all we can. That energy we do not know. And that's why in our literature has beautifully narrated it. Saguna Brahman, Nirguna Brahman, which means Saguna is the known energy, consciousness, or with something which has got shape, name, form. Like we identify them as God or the ultimate energy, existence. But because they had name, shape, form, they lived on this planet, they had limitation. They had to appear and disappear. They were born and they were dead. But the source of that energy, source of that life is, we do not know. That source we do not know. Our Vedas call it Brahman. And that's Nirguna Swarupa. It has no body, no shape, no form. Different philosophers call it light. There is what they call divine light. Or sometimes they say divine void. Yeah, it's just a void, openness, vastness, sky, yeah, existence. Space, for example, Akash Tattva, it has no shape, no form, no nothing. It's just void existence. And yet everything is in that. So the answer for what is the source of life is just the thought that you have to contemplate. But you can accept for sure consciousness. That is the energy. That energy that we have it sustains us through prana, through our breathing. And that's our source of life. Moment you do not have that prana, this body does not exist. So Maharaj's answer for what is meditation is to internalize your attention. Whereas in meditation of Rajneesh Osho, he says there is nothing called meditation. Meditation is not for peace of mind. In other words, only when you have peace of mind, you can do meditation, real meditation. Most of us, we try to remain in which we call meditation, thinking it will bring us peace of mind. According to Osho, it's not really. Only when you have peace of mind, you are in position to do meditation. How do you bring peace of mind? The only way to get peace of mind is the time when your life or values is to accept everything as it is. Acceptance of existence. Then you have no expectations. You have no more attachments, desires, expectations. You accept whatever is happening is okay. When you are in that condition, you are in peace of mind. You have no grudges, you have no any internal conflict.
So what I feel today,
that condition, if you sit eyes open, you may not see it because your mind is sorry, I didn't hear you.
no, I was just saying that the two things which Maharaji has said today is that be in pure awareness and be in sattva.
Yes.
Be
All
in the
this
present
is
moment and
very important. Yeah. So now Maharaj says being in sattva. What does it mean? Does it mean that something sattva guna you can accept, you can develop, you can acquire? Easy way for us is to be aware of our tamasic and rajasic nature.
classic. Yeah.
Moment we are aware of tamasic and rajasic nature, we will slowly but surely
Move towards
transcend.
sattva.
In the sense we evolve. Yeah. But if you are ignorant that this is tamasic or this is rajasic, for you or for them, this is who we are. I gave a small example of, in the matter like being angry or losing temper. That's tamasic quality. Moment you are aware of it, that it is not okay, that's not your real nature, that awareness alone will let you come out of that tamasic nature. You are driving a car and you are not fault, but yet something happened. You automatically, our mind conditioning, you feel angry. You feel angry on yourself or you feel angry on somebody else, but anger comes in. Now that's not your real nature. Moment you are aware that that's not me, that's not my real nature, how did I lose my temper? That awareness alone will transcend slowly but surely. Next time will come when no matter what happens, you will smile and say, it's okay, that happened. That's an accident. That's okay. When you are in such condition that you say, that's okay, that doesn't matter, whatever, you are transcending tamasic quality. Likewise, rajasic. When you start dropping that tamasic and rajasic quality, sattva is already there. You don't have to gain it. You don't have to acquire it. You are that. You are blissful soul. You are pure consciousness. So that sattva is already there. We only have to shed away, drop tamasic and rajasic. And that happens only when we are fully aware. We may, sometime it may happen, it can happen. But important is to bounce back and say, oh, how did I do that? That's not me. That's not my nature. That's all.
So awareness is the trick. Being aware.
Yep. Awareness is the trick. Correct. That's
Thank you, Acharya.
bottom line for everything.
That's the
Moment you live in awareness, that's called meditative state. And Osho says, meditation you do for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour. After that 1 hour, you are back to rat race. Instead, be in meditative state. Open eye meditation. What is open eye meditation? Fully awareness. Living with awareness. Om. 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 Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, God, for giving us air to breathe. Thank you, God, for giving us water to drink. Thank you, God, for giving us sun for energy. Thank you, God, for giving us good health and happiness. Thank you, God, for giving us food to eat. Thank you, God, for giving us positive. Thank you, God, for your love, your protection, your guidance, your blessings. Thank you, God, for giving us all that we deserve. Thank you, God, for the existence. Thank you for giving me chance to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Acharya ji.
Thank you so much, Acharya.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Very much, Kaji. Thank you.
I'll see you on Monday.
Yes.
Thank you.